What's up, guys? Oh, let me fix that. That doesn't look good. Ooh, it's a little better. In this video, we're going to be practicing the exposure triangle. You said how that last clip was super exposed, super bright and stuff like that. So one thing with these cameras filming manually is you have full control to, adjust different things. I hope I'm explaining it correctly. I'm learning it while I'm talking to you guys. But let me show you what I mean a little bit better. Basically, there are three things that you can adjust to affect exposure, and that should be shutter speed, ISO, and what's the other one? Aperture. Okay, so by adjusting all these three things in a triangle, you can change the exposure of the video. So I guess in this video, I'm just gonna be practicing messing around with all three. So first things first, I think let's mess with the ISO first. Okay, check out this tree. See how beautiful it is? Well, probably not, because the ISO is super high. Not super high, but it's at 2500 on a sunny day. So I just go in the ISO settings and I adjust it into something like maybe 400, maybe a little less, maybe 320. Look at that, it looks so much better. Now, I did hear something about you want to be careful with adjusting ISO because especially when it's really dark and you have to go really high on the ISO value, it starts getting grainy in the picture. So I did hear that cameras have this thing called a native ISO. So these are the ISO values where the camera looks the best. I guess the picture looks the best. And you want to try to keep it around those areas. So the camera I have right now has two native ISOs. One at 640. So that's gonna be really good for like sunny days, walking around, stuff like that. And there's another one at like 12,800, I think it is. So with that one, it's gonna be really good for nighttime because the higher the ISO, the more light or the brighter the image gets. So that's what I'm learning right now. But yeah, that's ISO. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, so another aspect of this exposure triangle is shutter speed. And from my understanding, shutter speed is how fast it takes the picture or something like that. That might not be fully correct, but normally the slower the shutter speed, the more like blurry it gets. And the faster the shutter speed, the more sharp and crisp it gets. So I've heard that you want it to be like twice your frame rate. So I'm filming at 24 frames per second. So my shutter speed is as close as twice as I can get it, which is 1/50th. And that should cause like natural motion blur. So I think it's there right now. So if my hands are a little normally blurry, that's kind of how our eyes see it. That's kind of how movies do it. So that's what I'm trying to keep it at. Higher the shutter speed, the darker the image. Basically, that's what I'm trying to get at. Let me show you what I mean. So right now it's at 1/50th. This is what happens if I lower it. Here, let me try to do it. I'm gonna lower it down to like 110. And now it's like, whoa, I don't feel so good. It's super blurry, but it got brighter, right? So let me increase it now. Sorry, I'm like trying to navigate the buttons from behind. So now I'm gonna make it like 1/125, why not? So now it's much darker, but like everything should be a lot crisper. And yeah, I guess that's shutter speed. Okay, so the third part of this exposure triangle is aperture. So how aperture works, from my understanding, is the higher the value, the less light it lets in, but it makes the image, I guess, super sharp everywhere. And if it's the smaller the value, it lets in way more light and it makes the background super blurry, like that blurry professional look that you see all the time. So right now, because it's a sunny day, I had to like put the aperture really high to like the highest my camera goes, which is at like f22. So everything should be pretty clear. You see the background fine, you see me fine and everything. But let me try to adjust the different things on the exposure triangle to try to get the aperture much smaller, meaning the background is going to be super blurry. So let me adjust that and you should see it right now. Okay, so Hopefully I'm in frame because I adjusted a bunch of things, but I lowered it to the lowest aperture my camera could do, which is f2.8. And different lenses can go lower. I guess they get bigger and more expensive at that point. But f2.8 is what my camera can do. And how's it look? Is the background blurry? Do I look pretty cool? Hopefully I do. I had to like bump up the shutter speed to like 1/400th of a second and change the ISO to like 160. Look at me talking values like I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this is cool. Like I want to try to keep it as low as I can because it makes it super, I don't know, it makes it look super cool, super blurry in the background and everything. So that's exposure triangle, and hopefully that made sense. I'm going to be messing around with it and having fun with the camera. So see you next time.